I am 93 years old. That number doesn't impress me anymore. It used to. When I turned 80, I felt proud. When I reached 90, I felt victorious, like I had won some kind of race. It humbles me now, because with each year, I become more aware of how little I actually know, how much I got wrong, how many chances I wasted believing I had more time. I have outlived my parents. They're gone now, decades in the ground. The people who gave me life, the people who seemed invincible when I was young. I have buried friends, not one or two, dozens. People I laughed with, people I shared secrets with, people I thought would be there forever. I have watched entire generations grow up believing they discovered something new, something revolutionary, something their parents couldn't possibly understand, only to repeat the same mistakes we made before them. The same patterns, the same priorities, the same illusions about what matters. At 93, you don't chase applause. You've heard enough applause to know it fades the moment the room empties. You don't argue to win. You've won enough arguments to realize that winning often costs you the relationship. You don't care about being right. Being right means nothing if it leaves you alone and disconnected. You care about being clear, about saying the truth plainly, about not wasting words on things that don't matter. And after 93 years of living, losing, loving, failing, waiting, regretting, forgiving, and starting over, after all of that, there is one thing that stands above everything else. One thing more important than success, more important than all the goals you're chasing right now, more important than money, more important than the security you think will finally make you feel safe, more important than reputation, more important than what people think of you or say about you when you're not in the room. And I need you not to forget it. I need you to hear this clearly and carry it with you, because most people do forget it. Most people forget it until it's too late to do anything about it. I am not speaking from theory. I'm not reciting something I read in a book or heard in a lecture. I am speaking from erosion, from having lived long enough to watch everything get stripped away. Time erodes illusions. It reveals what's real and what was always pretend. It strips away performance. The masks you wear, the roles you play, the person you pretend to be. It removes excuses, the stories you tell yourself about why you can't, why you shouldn't, why now isn't the time. When you are young, you think life is about accumulation, about gathering more, building more, becoming more achievements, more items on your resume, more proof that you matter, more recognition, more likes, more followers, more people knowing your name, more security, more money in the bank, more insurance, more safety nets, more certainty, more control, more predictability, more guarantees that nothing bad will happen. At 93, I can tell you with complete honesty, with no exaggeration, with the clarity that only comes from having reached the end, almost everything you are chasing will lose its weight. The achievements will blur together. The recognition will fade. The money will mean less than you think. The security you're killing yourself to build won't protect you from what actually matters. But the thing I'm about to tell you will not lose its weight. It will only grow heavier, more important, more undeniable with every year that passes. Let me take you back. Let me show you where I learned this lesson the hard way. When I was 34, I believed I was building a life, a real life, something solid, something meaningful, good job, respected position, steady income, the kind of job people congratulated me for having. Busy calendar, every day filled, every hour accounted for, meetings, deadlines, responsibilities. I wore my busyness like a badge of honor, respect from colleagues. People listened when I spoke. They sought my opinion. They valued my input. I thought that was progress. I thought that was what success looked like. I thought I was doing everything right. I missed dinners. I'll be home late tonight. Don't wait up for me. I'll make it up to you. I postponed trips. We'll go next year. Once this project is finished, when things slow down, I delayed conversations that felt uncomfortable. The ones where I'd have to be vulnerable. The ones where I'd have to admit I was struggling. The ones where I'd have to actually be present. I told myself lies that sounded reasonable. Lies that everyone around me was also telling themselves. I'll fix it later, as if relationships wait patiently for you to finally have time for them. I'll have time, as if time is something you'll suddenly acquire more of, like finding money on the sidewalk. Now is not the moment. As if the perfect moment will announce itself clearly and unmistakably. That sentence, now is not the moment, stole more from me than failure ever did. Because failure teaches you something. Failure wakes you up. Failure redirects you. But postponement? Postponement just quietly steals your life while you're looking the other way. Because life does not wait for the moment you find convenient. It keeps moving, with or without you, with or without your attention, with or without your participation. And here is the most important thing I learned in 93 years. The thing I wish someone had told me when I was your age. The thing that, if you remember nothing else from this, you must remember. Nothing is more valuable than the quality of your attention. Not your intelligence, not how smart you are or how quickly you learn or how much you know. Not your ambition, not how hard you work or how many goals you achieve or how high you climb. Not your image, not what you look like or what people think of you or how impressive your life appears from the outside. Your attention, that's it. That's everything. Where you place it, what you choose to focus on, what you decide is worth your limited awareness, who you give it to, which people get the gift of your full presence, who receives your undivided focus, what you allow to consume it, what you permit to steal your awareness, what you let fragment your focus. That is your real life, not the life you imagine you're living, not the life you're planning to live someday. The life you're actually living right now is made entirely of where your attention goes. Most people think their life is made of years. They measure life by the calendar, by how many trips around the sun they've completed. It is not. It is made of moments you were present for. Moments where you were actually there, not physically present, but mentally elsewhere. And moments you were absent from. Moments that happened around you while you were thinking about something else, somewhere else, someone else. At 93, I don't remember my best business quarter. I can't tell you which year we had our highest profits or our biggest growth. I don't remember the arguments I won. I don't remember what we were even arguing about most of the time. I remember when I wasn't listening. I remember when my wife was speaking to me about something that mattered to her, and I was thinking about work. I was nodding, making the right sounds, but I wasn't there. She knew it. I knew it. We both pretended otherwise. I remember when my son asked me to watch him play baseball, and I said I was busy. I can still see his face, the disappointment he tried to hide, the way he said, "Okay," quietly, and walked away. I remember the look in his eyes more clearly than any promotion I ever received, more clearly than any achievement, more clearly than any award or recognition. That memory stayed, sharp, painful, permanent. The promotion did not. I can barely remember what it was for. Attention is the currency of love. It's how love is actually expressed, actually felt, actually received, not through words, not through gifts, through attention. And most people spend it on noise, on screens, on strangers, on things that won't matter in a week, let alone in a lifetime. Let me tell you about a man named Daniel. I need you to understand Daniel because Daniel is most of the people reading this right now. Daniel was brilliant, sharp, quick. The kind of person who always had the answer, organized, everything in its place, everything planned, everything optimized, ambitious, always climbing, always achieving, always moving toward the next goal. He always said with absolute sincerity, "I'm doing this for my family." He believed it. Everyone believed it. It sounded noble. It sounded like sacrifice. It sounded like love. He worked late, stayed at the office long after everyone else went home, took work home on weekends. He traveled constantly, different city every week, different hotel, different client, always somewhere else. He optimized everything, his schedule, his productivity, his efficiency, everything except his presence. When Daniel was 52, his daughter stopped calling him, not because she hated him, not because they had some big fight, not because of any dramatic falling out, because she didn't know him. He was a stranger who paid her bills, a name on birthday cards, a voice on occasional phone calls. He had provided everything except himself, except his time, except his attention, except his presence. Daniel came to me once, confused, hurt, unable to understand what had gone wrong. He said, "I don't understand. I gave them everything." No, he gave them money, which they appreciated but didn't need as much as he thought. He gave them comfort, a nice house, good schools, material security. He gave them structure, rules, systems, organization. But he did not give them attention. He did not give them presence. He did not give them himself. And attention is what becomes memory. Presence is what becomes relationship. Time together is what becomes love. At 59, Daniel died unexpectedly. Heart attack, sudden, no warning, no chance to say goodbye. At his funeral, people praised his achievements. They talked about his success, his dedication, his work ethic. But his daughter cried like someone who had already lost him years earlier, like someone who was mourning a father she never really had. That is when I realized something irreversible, something I can never unsee. You can be physically present and emotionally absent for decades. You can be in the room without being in the moment. You can be home without being there. You can look at someone without seeing them. And that absence leaves scars, deep ones, invisible ones, the kind that don't heal just because you finally show up years later. At 93, I can tell you this clearly, without any doubt. Where your attention goes, your life follows. If your attention lives in comparison, constantly measuring yourself against others, checking how you stack up, evaluating your worth by their standards, your life will feel insufficient, never enough, always lacking. If your attention lives in fear, constantly worrying about what might go wrong, rehearsing disasters, preparing for catastrophes, your life will feel unsafe, anxious, unstable. If your attention lives in resentment, replaying old wounds, nursing grudges, collecting evidence of how you've been wronged, your life will feel heavy, bitter, exhausting. But if your attention lives in the moment, even briefly, even imperfectly, even for just a few seconds at a time, your life feels real, not perfect. I'm not promising perfect, real, alive, authentic, like you're actually living it instead of just thinking about living it. When you are young, you think you have infinite attention. You do not. You never did. Attention is limited. You only have so much in a day. When it's gone, it's gone. Energy is limited. You can't focus on everything. Every yes to one thing is a no to something else. Time is limited. Every hour spent here is an hour not spent there. And yet you spend hours scrolling through feeds that don't feed you, through content that doesn't nourish you, arguing with strangers about things that don't affect your actual life, things you won't remember next week, comparing your worst to their best, your reality to their highlight reel, your beginning to their middle, imagining what others think, building entire narratives about judgments that probably don't even exist, At 93, I no longer care what strangers think. I don't care what people I don't know say about me. I don't care about opinions from people who aren't in my life. I care whether I was fully there when someone needed me, whether I showed up, whether I listened, whether I saw them. That is the metric. That's the only measurement that matters at the end. The most important thing I learned in 93 years is not about success, not about achievement, not about accomplishment. It is this: be where you are, completely. It sounds simple, almost too simple, like it couldn't possibly be that important. It is not easy. Your mind wants to escape. It wants to be somewhere else, anywhere else. It wants to avoid discomfort. It wants stimulation. It wants novelty. It wants entertainment. It wants to be distracted from whatever difficult thing is in front of you. It wants distraction. It craves it. It seeks it. It manufactures it when none exists. But presence is a discipline, a practice, a muscle you have to build. And it is the only thing that transforms ordinary moments into meaningful ones. I made mistakes. So many mistakes. I lost entire seasons of my life to distraction disguised as productivity. I sacrificed conversations for deadlines. I chose work over people. I prioritized tasks over relationships. I postponed vulnerability because it felt uncomfortable. I avoided depth because it required too much. I stayed on the surface because it felt safer. At 93, comfort means nothing to me. Comfort is overrated. Comfort is often the enemy of meaning. Connection means everything. Being truly known, being truly present, being truly alive. There was a day when my wife was ill. Not critically, she wasn't dying, just tired, run down, not feeling well. She asked me to sit with her, just sit, just be there. I said I had work to finish. I had a deadline. I had something important. I finished the work. I met the deadline. I completed the task. But I never got that afternoon back. She recovered. Life continued. We moved on. It seemed like no big deal at the time. But that small decision taught me something brutal, something I wish I'd understood decades earlier. There is always more work. There is not always more time. You think you will remember the big days, the weddings, the promotions, the celebrations, but you remember the small ones, the random Tuesday when someone laughed at something you said and the whole room felt light, the quiet evening when nothing urgent happened and you just sat together in comfortable silence, the ordinary morning that later became the last time you saw someone. Presence is what makes those moments permanent. Absence erases them. They happen, but they don't register. They pass through you without leaving a mark. At 93, I no longer measure life in accomplishments. I don't count achievements. I don't tally successes. I measure it in depth of attention. Did I listen fully? Did I hear not just the words, but the meaning behind them? Did I look into their eyes? Did I actually see the person in front of me? Did I notice the details, the small things that reveal the big things? Did I feel the room? Did I sense the mood, the energy, the unspoken truth? Or was I somewhere else, thinking about yesterday or tomorrow or somewhere that isn't here? Most people live in the future or the past, planning, worrying, anticipating, regretting, replaying, rehearsing. Very few live here, in this moment, this breath, this conversation, this person in front of them. And here is the only place life actually happens. You are not tired because life is heavy. You are tired because your attention is fragmented, split, divided, scattered. You are divided across screens, expectations, comparisons, unfinished thoughts, imagined conversations. You are everywhere except where you are, and that creates emptiness, a hollowness, a sense that something's missing but you can't name what. The most important thing I learned in 93 years is this: life is not short because of time. It is short because of inattention. When you are present, an hour expands. It feels full. It feels rich. It feels like enough. When you are absent, years disappear. They blur together. They pass without leaving a trace. If I could give you one practice, it would not be financial advice, not investment strategies, not career guidance. It would not be ambition, not goal setting, not productivity hacks. It would be this. When someone speaks to you, stop everything else. Put down the phone. Close the laptop. Turn off the TV. Look at them. When you eat, taste the food. Notice the texture, the temperature, the flavor. Be there for the experience. When you walk, feel your steps. Feel your feet touching the ground. Feel the air on your skin. Be in your body. When someone you love sits beside you, put the phone away. Don't check it. Don't glance at it. Don't think about it. Be with them. You think you will remember those moments automatically. You won't. Memory doesn't work that way. Memory follows attention. What you pay attention to, you remember. What you ignore, you forget. At 93, my world is smaller. I don't travel. I don't go many places. I don't see many people. My body is slower. Everything takes longer. Everything requires more effort. My circle is quieter. Most of the people are gone. The ones who remain matter more. But my awareness is sharper than it has ever been, because I finally stopped scattering my attention across things that will not matter when I am gone, and when I leave, and that day is closer than I pretend. The only thing that will remain is the quality of moments I was fully inside, not the moments that happened around me, the moments I was actually in. Don't forget this. Please, don't wait until you're 93 to understand what I'm telling you now. Success fades. Awards get dusty. Achievements get forgotten. Beauty fades. Youth ends. Physical appearance changes. Power rotates. Leaders change. Influence shifts. What felt permanent proves temporary. Technology evolves. What's cutting edge today is obsolete tomorrow, but presence never goes out of date. It is the only wealth that compounds invisibly. It grows quietly. It builds relationships that last. You are not too young to understand this. Age is not the issue, but you are young enough to ignore it, to think it doesn't apply to you yet, to think you have time. Do not ignore this. Do not postpone this. Do not wait. Because I promise you this with absolute certainty. One day you will look back not at what you achieved, not at your resume, not at your bank account, not at your accomplishments, but at what you were truly there for. And that is when you will understand what I am telling you now. I am 93 years old. I have seen ambition collapse. I have watched people who seemed unstoppable crumble. I have seen certainty dissolve. Plans that seemed solid evaporate. I have seen plans interrupted by illness, by death, by circumstances no one predicted. The only thing that has never lost value is simple. Be present with the people and the moments that are in front of you, completely, fully, without reservation, without your mind being somewhere else, because attention is life. And once you give it away carelessly, you never get it back. Don't forget that.